Hello there and welcome back to the part 2 of the 30 versatile fragrances video. So in this video today we are going to talk about another 10 fragrances that will make up the 11 to 20 fragrances in the 30 list. And this is not a ranking video per se, but these are basically fragrances that I think are absolutely versatile, that can be worn all across the year, and you might definitely garner compliments. More also from a point of view that you can comfortably wear any of these fragrances without actually annoying any other people, and you don't have to think about a lot when you have to grab any one of these fragrances. Also, if you're new into the fragrance journey and if you're looking to build a collection, and this might be a type of a fragrance collection that can help you kickstart your fragrance collection and start getting a lot of fragrances from here onwards. And so this way this becomes a good reference point for you to start your fragrance journey as such, right? So you're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney and thank you so much for your love and support. We've crossed the 10,000 subscriber mark and definitely we do have a giveaway in mind. I will do a separate video to announce the giveaway and what kind of a event that will be. So look forward to that video, and if you haven't already subscribed, definitely do that and click on the notification icon. Do get notified about the new videos that come on this particular channel. I bring about Middle Eastern, Indian and a lot of other things as well. So get ready onto a lot of good fragrance related topics and other things that gets covered on this channel, right? So let's get into the review and let's get started right after this intro. Alright, welcome back, and I'd like to start off by showing you red tobacco as one of the most versatile fragrances to go. I'm just kidding, don't worry, I'm not going to do this because this is definitely the opposite of anything but a versatile fragrance. I was just kidding around. Let's actually look at fragrances that really make up this list in terms of versatility, right? So the first fragrance that I'd like to talk to you about here is a fragrance from the house of Fragrance World, and I kind of like this fragrance a lot versus the other alternates that have been in the market so far, right? I'm talking about this being the Suits from the house of Fragrance World. Now if you know Suits is basically an alternate of the popular Yves Saint Laurent's Tuxedo. Okay, now you also can consider Maison Alhambra's Tux as well. I've done a detailed comparison between the two as to which one is better, and I can definitely tell you the Suits is way more better than the Tux in many ways. However, now we do have from French Avenue, we also have Fierté as well, which is supposed to be considered as a very good alternate as well. I will try getting that and decanting it and also review that. I do also have Afnan Turati Brown as well with me, but I have not been able to try it yet, so I haven't added this to the list. But we look at this video from a DNA point of view, how these DNAs make up for versatility. So if you think about the Fragrance World Suits, what's best about it is the way in which this fragrance opens. Particularly if you like non-sweet fragrances, if you have a thing for fragrances that have got, let's say, a good amount of spicy elements, and you like very earthy notes like, let's say, patchouli. Okay, so this has patchouli, this has vanilla, this has a little bit of a geranium, sage, that kind of a spicier nuance to it. But what really makes this fragrance a very beautiful fragrance to consider is the inclusion of the way rose comes into this fragrance, which gives it that heart note. Okay, now the rose here is absolutely beautiful. It's light, mellow, it kind of blends so very well with the vanilla which is there in the dry down. But primarily right at the top you do have a lot of patchouli, which gives you that nice earthy type of a nuance, very dry, very very spicy. Now at the top also you have a lot of spicier elements, making this one of the most sexy fragrances out there for men that you can definitely consider. Easily this will be one of the most complimenting fragrance, something that you can easily wear in a large gathering, a black tie event, or in an event where you are wearing a tie for the first time or a suit for the first time, where you are looking very western, so to say. In that kind of scenario, this will be a fragrance that will garner a lot of compliment for you. Now this surprisingly has very good performance. It easily does about 5-6 hours and above, and projects for about 2 feet roughly. Now this is not a very loud kind of a scent, so it's not a beast mode scent, but it definitely has an accord of sex appeal to it. It has an accord of masculinity to it, and that way this one makes up for a really wonderful fragrance for a throughout the year, office, date nights, celebrations, that kind of an event, very beautiful. I wouldn't say this is a unisex fragrance, but I would say this is more of a masculine fragrance, and the juice color on this is superb. It's a very spicy fragrance that gives you a lot of compliments and absolutely smells really nice, very different to something else. And I think this is one of the classic fragrances, if you sort of think about, and that light rose view that is there gives it a really beautiful ambience to the whole scent, right? So consider Fragrance World Suits as one of the options in this particular list. The next fragrance is a cult classic, and from the time Rasasi went ahead and released this flanker, and I think this has become one of the popular flankers after the original Rasasi Havas and Havas Ice. This is one of the nicest flankers out there. I'm talking about the Havas Black. Okay, now the Havas Black is very, very beautiful because this is a take on Hachivat, and what this really does wonderfully good is it brings a spicier nature. Okay, again, but with a little bit of a sweetness. There's a lot of sweetness coming from pineapple. There's a lot of oak moss in this, and a lot of a smoky kind of an element. So a little like Club de Nuit, intense, so to say, but that's a lot more brighter, fruity, and that kind of thing. This is more denser, more sharper, and has a very beautiful masculinity, sex appeal that's very, very beautiful with the fragrance. Now the Havas Black actually works really well because it performs really good. It will actually do 6, 7, 8 hours of performance as well, and projects really good as well. Say about 2 to 2.5 feet of projection is what I would say. But the way in which the oak moss and the pineapple come together and gives you that a little bit of that spicier green note to it, along with that little bit of that pineapple, which is the fruity vibe, and the oak moss being that green mossy kind of a vibe, makes the scent a very, very good one to consider. Again, this one also has a little bit of a patchouli. This one also has a little bit of a floral element coming off jasmine, but it's kind of not very noticeable. The most noticeable accords are definitely the pineapple, the oak moss, and a little bit of an ambre element as well. Overall, a fantastic scent if you kind of especially like the Nishane Hachivat as such, and if you like that nuance which goes with a lot of pineapple, cedar, woody, and a little bit of a more greener kind of a fragrance with a little bit of a more mossy vibe that you think, this is a fantastic option to consider. Very high value for money a fragrance, and with all the price drops that's happening with Havas right now, this is still little on the 3,000 to 4,000 rupees category, but still this is a very, very beautiful fragrance to have, especially for office wear. If you're somebody who likes to go into a lot of meetings, you meet a lot of people, you have a lot of client meetings or vendor meetings and all of that, and you do want to carry a scent that will garner a lot of compliments, also makes you noticed in that kind of a meeting, then yes, Havas Black is definitely one to keep. The next one is quite a new release, especially this year, and I actually did not think this will get so much of a liking as such, and this has become a very popular fragrance in the budget segment, so to say. I'm talking about the Latafas Najdia Intense. Okay, now the Najdia Intense is a take on the Jean Paul Gaultier's Labau kind of a DNA, but has that nuance of what the original Najdia had, which was that bubblegummy, feeling green, leafy kind of a vibe. Add that with a lot of coconut vibe to it, and you end up getting Najdia Intense. The Najdia Intense is actually a very, very beautiful fragrance because it does something very right. It has a bit of sharp synthetic opening, which at this particular price point you can definitely expect. But what it really does well is that it gives you, at the budget friendly price point of 1.5 to 1,700 rupees price point, it gives you a scent that is actually 7 hours and above in terms of lasting. It gives you a scent that is very good in projection, does easily about 2.5 feet to 3 feet of projection for the first 45 minutes to half an hour or so, close to an hour as well. And overall, very paisa vasool type of a fragrance. That means it is very value for money. So especially if you're in college, if you're new to fragrances and you do not have a lot of budget to buy something nice, then you can start off with something like this, which is really, really good value for money. The thing about this is it has a little bit of a sweetness. It also has a little bit of that coconutty vibe, and the coconutty vibe here is a little bit more towards a fresher kind of a coconut. Okay, not a lot of dry coconut, so to say. So that oil, a coconut oil type of a vibe is something that you will get. But having said that, because of its bubblegummy nature, the sweet bubblegummy aquatic type of a nature, this smells really, really good in the air, and you will easily wear it off for large functions, especially outdoor functions, and you're looking to get a complementing type of a fragrance. very unisex in nature, so even men, women, boys, girls, anybody would easily like it, and you can kind of get recognized easily for it. Now this is a very beautiful scent, so to say, and overall I feel if you look at all of the coconutty fragrances that have come out this year, my top pick would definitely be Cuddler's Highland, but if you're looking at a budget friendly option, this also is a very good one to consider. This is the Najdia Intense. The next fragrance here is one of my favorite fragrances from the house of Ahmad Al Maghribi. Now you will find a couple of options of Ahmad Al Maghribi mentioned in this particular video, and overall you will find a lot of fragrances from them. One of the fragrance that is super underrated and truly worth the hype is the Azure Royale from Ahmad Al Maghribi. Now this was something that I reviewed last year or a couple of years back, and this was a stellar fragrance because this is a twist on the Blue Talisman by ex Nihilio, but what they have done differently is this, that they have added a lot of musk to it. Okay, so there's a lot of musk, sharp musk that you get right at the top. You also get a lot of fruity elements as well, but not very fruity. It's the muskier approach that takes dominant of the fragrance and gives you a very unique scent profile, which is very masculine, which is very outdoor types. And if you are looking for a scent that actually lasts for 7-8 hours time, even in good dry heat or high humidity, you want a scent that smells really, really nice with light amount of sweetness and a lot of musk, but the way it kind of comes across with that lovely ambroxan type of a vibe is this beautiful fragrance called Azure Royale. Now, Azure Royale basically has a lot of fruity elements. It has a lot of pear to talk about. It has a little bit of a floral vibe like freesia, all of that. But it's the dominant nature of those fruity pear kind of a note coming together with a little, with a lot of musk and a little bit of a cedar. Okay. Overall, this is in the 2,500 to 3,000 rupees kind of price point at this time, because Ahmad Al Maghribi fragrances have hiked their price by about 100 to 250 across all of their articles. So you will see that newer releases or new stock coming in is actually priced a little bit more than the previous one. If you're looking for a fragrance that's a full day wear and one of those fragrances that kind of can be worn all across the year without a lot of thought, this is easily one of the nicest scents to consider. Okay, now a lot of you might be thinking, is this good or electric? Turati Electric is better. So the basic difference between the two is that this is a lot more heavier on the musk and is a little bit more sharper in terms of the fragrance quality, scent profile wise, whereas Turati Electric is a little bit more floral. It's a little more softer in general, but the quality of Afnan fragrance is definitely way better than Ahmad ones here. But the performance wise, I would say Turati Electric is a little softer overall, but this one beats that in performance straight off. So Azure Royale definitely is one thing to consider in your list of fragrances when you think about versatile fragrances for your collection. Now the fifth fragrance here is one from the new releases of Afnan, and I think this one is really, really superb. I haven't really reviewed this as such, so it gives me an occasion to review it here or to talk about this fragrance. I'm talking about the Rare Reef from the house of Afnan. Now this fragrance actually was a very interesting one, because a lot of people were looking forward to get this when it came, and now it's completely out of stock everywhere in India. This is a very beautiful citrusy fragrance. Now the beauty of this is when you put it on for the first time, it does remind you of a specific fragrance, and that's why a lot of you went for it. But also the other element was that this was a very soft fragrance when you first wore it in the first couple of occasions. After that, give it about a week or two and this thing becomes like a not literally a beast mode scent, but kind of gets very loud, very beautiful, very nice overall. And this Rare Reef is a fragrance that's supposed to be an alternate of the Pacific Chill by Louis Vuitton, but actually it isn't. Okay, so what makes this different is that the apricot note here is a lot lighter. It takes that DNA of Pacific Chill but goes in a totally different route altogether. So this is more of a muskier, citrusy, more citrusy than apricot, and kind of a fragrance that goes that way, giving you a lot of compliments. Now this is the type of fragrance that you can easily spritz on you whenever you go out in a car or indoor occasion or anywhere where you gather, come across a few people and you want compliments to garner from a fragrance, then definitely the Rare Reef does a fantastic job at that. Now, surprisingly, the performance also is good. You do get about 5-6 hours of performance, but the beautiful citrusy element, the muskier element, the overall fruitiness that you get from a fragrance like Rare Reef is absolutely beautiful. Now, this does have a lot of minty freshness. It has a little bit of basil, it has a bit of floral vibes, it has a little bit of a fig and all of those elements as well. But overall, this you can simply say this is as a fruity, citrusy fragrance with a little bit of an ambroxan kind of an element. Overall, smells really refreshingly good, and Afnan being Afnan, the quality of fragrance is top notch, and a lot of detailing has gone into this fragrance in terms of its creation, the bottle, all of that. This is absolutely value for money. Now, like I said, this has gone out of stock in most places, so if it does come back to in stock, this should be one of the fragrances that you should look at collecting, having in your collection, because this in the summers to come, or in generally you are looking at a fragrance that without thinking, I just want to wear a nice citrusy fragrance that appeals, opens up a lot in the sun, then this is definitely one to consider. So this is the Afnan Rare Reef. This is number 5 on this particular list. Alright, so the next fragrance here is one that I featured in my last video as well, which was the 5 hidden gems, new found fragrances. And in case you haven't watched that video, do watch that video if you like good vanilla kind of scent. And there is one fragrance that was there on that list, which I think is a very versatile fragrance, so to say, and that is the Afnan's Historic, okay, the Sahara Historic. This is, or rather Historic Sahara. This is a fantastic fragrance that has got a good amount of citrusy, sweet nuance to it. And it has a lot of cinnamon, vanilla vibe, and a lot of that a good chocolatey vibe that you get from something like a truffle. This is not very gourmandish, so this is what makes it very versatile to wear, unlike Liquid Brune. Liquid Brune has got a lot of gourmand vibe to it, so it's very well suited for winters especially. Now, this is something that you can actually wear throughout the year, even in the evenings as well. And if you're somebody who actually likes to wear a fragrance in the office, right? So when you reach the office, then you go to the washroom and you kind of wear a fragrance, then this is definitely one that you can wear at any point of the time all across the year, because indoor temperatures are a stable temperature, so mostly like 20 degrees or 21 degrees or 19 degrees is what you would mostly have it in AC. So during that kind of a temperature, this will be one of the nice fragrances to wear, because this will garner a lot of compliments. Plus, this one smells really good in the air as well, and does have a good lasting as well. So overall, you do get a scent that is really complimenting, good in terms of value for money, and also a very unique scent profile. That's why I've kind of added this in this particular list, where you see I don't actually have a lot of heavier, denser fragrances, so to say. But if you think about a few fragrances that you like with sweet, with a little bit of vanilla, with a little bit of cinnamon sweetness and all of that, then yes, the Historic Sahara definitely is one in that list. This is also a very unisex fragrance also. So because of that, this is another reason why, a couple can easily share this fragrance and wear it all across the year. And Afnan's quality being really good, this one is also right out there as a very good alternate of the popular Parfums Malais Althea. Okay, so overall excellent scent from the house of Afnan that you can definitely add to your collection of versatile fragrances. Alright, the next fragrance that I want to talk to you about is from the house of Latafa. Now, this is a fragrance that actually made a comeback in 2025, because for the last couple of years, it kind of, went under the radar and got disappeared altogether. I'm talking about the Latafa's Wajood, and I do have a decant here. We do have it in stores as well. This is right now available as a full-time fragrance as well. So the Latafa's Wajood, what makes that as one of the nice fragrances to wear all across the year is this is a marine fragrance with a little bit of good fruity element, specifically the fig that comes into this, a lot of patchouli, a lot of vetiver kind of an element, making it very pleasant, lightly sweet, lightly fruity, but very marine type of an orientation. Now, if you like fragrances like David of Cool Water, or fragrances that have got a salty marine accord, then the Latafa's Wajood is, I think, one of the most underrated fragrances to think about, because it really functions well. Okay, now it actually does a decent performance as well. It gives you about 5 to 6 hours of performance. Now, this is the type of scent that I would easily wear on a white shirt. You can easily wear this because it smells really great there, with a lot of vetiver, patchouli, the salty accords, the fig, and also a good amount of sandalwood in the dry down. The dry down is very woody, so to say. So because of the sandalwood, you have a light amount of sweetness. Okay. Now the bottle looks almost like the Latafas Nebras bottle, which is in gold, but this is in a silver color bottle, and this is a very, very beautiful scent. If you like fragrances like the Kenzo's EDT Intense, okay, which is again a salty marine accord kind of a fragrance with the fig note, I feel this is an inspiration of that and made really, really nice. Now at the 2,500 rupees roughly category, this is a little expensive currently from the previous price point that it was a couple of years back. So overall, I feel this is an excellent scent to wear if you like woody, vetiver, fresh, and a little bit of that salty marine kind of a fragrance with the light hint of fig. Now fig is really a type of fruit that brings about a lot of freshness. It has a little bit of that sweet accord to it, but has a little bit of a complex nature to it as well, has a little bit of a dense vanilla kind of a thickness to it as attached to it. So overall, I feel this is a fantastic fragrance, the Latafa Wajood, and you should definitely add this to your list of versatile fragrances all across the year. The next fragrance here is a cult classic when you think about loud, out there type of fragrances, and I'm talking about the Latafa's Atlas. Okay, now the Atlas is a very popular fragrance. I did get one for myself, but I never bothered to open it up. I'm just kind of gatekeeping it, so to say. This is a fantastic fragrance to add because I still have the decant with me that I had it from a couple of years back, and that is still here, and that has a little bit of a juice still left on it, so I thought let's use this. Now this is a fragrance that's again got a similar type of vibe that you would see like the Wajood, similar sea salt accord, sea salt marines. You do get a little bit of ambroxan, ambergris, you have a lot of sandalwood as well, but what makes Latafa's Atlas very beautiful is these loudness, right? It's a beast mode of a scent, especially if you like that lovely musky sea salt accord, marine fresh kind of a category. This is absolutely wonderful. And the other beauty is the performance, right? Along with that loud, craziness that it has, it also has got a fantastic lasting as well. So you do get a very nice citrusy, oak mossy type of a vibe with a little bit of a lovely, accord, like a little bit like the Azure Royale in terms of the fragrance profile, but where Azure Royale has got a lot of fruitier elements, this one does not have those, but this one in fact has a lot of citrus elements and a lot of sea salty accord, making it one of the nicest scents to kind of wear. Now, I do reckon that you should try the Latafa Atlas for sure, but you should go a little bit with a caution because of the loudness, and it kind of can become a little headache inducing as well. Now, if you're not aware, the Latafa Atlas is a great alternative, or the Ortho Parisis Megamar. Now, one option is that you can consider Aqua Pura as well from Fragrance World, but the best is definitely this one. If you can't get this, you can also consider Spanish Tobacco from Ibrahim Al Qureshi as well, because that also is very well done. So now two lovely citruses, marine kind of fragrance in this list, and there's one more to go as well that I will talk about, but good one to consider to have is Latafa's Atlas. The next fragrance is the Zeleny from the house of Hamad Al Maghrabi, and totally 100% versatile fragrance, unisex fragrance, again goes a lot towards the ambergris, musky approach like how you have in the Azure Royale or in the Atlas, but the difference here is this one has got a lot of raspberry, strawberry, that kind of a vibe, and makes this a wonderful fragrance, right? So this is the type of fragrance that a couple can wear, and you can easily wear it for any day wear functions, anything long lasting, anything that you would want, where you want to get like 8 hours, 9 hours of performance easy, and projects for about 3 feet or so. This is the type of fragrance that you can definitely carry, right? Now the Zeleny is a little bit more tart, a little bit more citrusy, little bit more white mask. So that way this makes for a very excellent option. If you're new to the Hamad Al Maghrabi type of fragrances, then wear a couple of sprays lesser because they are high in terms of concentration. So the project really crazy, and the last really loud as well. So definitely one to add is a Zeleny from the house of Hamad Al Maghrabi. The next fragrance on this list is a wonderful fragrance, and I absolutely love fragrances that actually have a lovely sea accord to them, and they have a little bit of a sandalwood. They do have a little bit of a powdery touch and a light hint of floral or fruity nuance. But what if fruity, florals, citrusy, marine vibe with a little bit of sandalwood and a lovely earthy nuance of vetiver also is present to give you a wonderful scent that can garner a lot of compliments. Well, the Club de Nuit milestone is definitely one of them, because this is an alternate of the popular Millesime Imperial of Creed, and this is a fantastic scent for you to wear all across the year. Now, this can be worn indoors, it can be worn in car, it can be worn outdoor as well, but I would not recommend it as a very outdoor type of a scent. But if you are looking for that one scent that you would want to wear for office, you can wear at any point of time, you want to have that kind of a polished finesse outlook, but then at the same time garner a lot of compliments, then definitely the milestone is one that still is good, because even today it sells really good. Now, there is another fragrance as well, the Hamidi Addicted Imperial, which is also an alternate of this of the same Millesime Imperial. But between the two, I absolutely like the milestone for its scent quality and the slightly better performance that you get. You typically get about 5-6 hours of performance on this, not beyond that, because after the first 1 hour they kind of become a little soft. Projection is also about 2 to 2.5 feet, so to say, but from a scent quality, scent profile, and for a fragrance that can garner a lot of compliments, these are fantastic. So definitely these are the 10 fragrances in this particular list that I talked to you about, versatile fragrances which are between 20 to 30, and do let me know what are your thoughts, and I'll see you on another video where I'll bring you the remaining part of this particular series with the remaining 21 to 30 fragrances of the part 3. And if you have tried any of these and which are your favorite fragrances, do let me know in comments. I'll see you on another video. Until another time, take care. Bye bye.